So many things that came along the way that just really strengthened the movie and just gave it a lot more emotion as we went. So there were a few things, and it was always a musical. It was always to be a musical. So.
Let me get Jennifer in here. You just jumped on into animation. Where did you, tell us how you got here? We know Chris is involved with Tarzan and Surf's Up and amazing, many other great animated features, and Peter's been around for a while too with Disney.
Yeah. No, this is good. It's making me feel young.
So tell us how you got here. I find that interesting.
I mean, as a kid, what I wanted to be more than anything was a Disney animator. Mm-hmm. I drew all the time, not very well, but I did it. I think I was always a storyteller. So ending up in film and screenwriting just sort of was my way in, but I was always a very visual person. Phil Johnston, actually, the co-writer of Wreck-It Ralph, we went to film school together and met the first day. And we spent, every week we met and critiqued each other's...
What other songs they did, so I went and saw Book of Mormon in New York, and I figured they'd be perfect for a Disney movie.
In fact, Chris, I remember you saying, push it even further.
Yeah, go a little bit further this time, guys. And I actually saw Avenue Q, and I was out off-Broadway the same weekend, so I just thought it was just so fresh, so fun, very clever, and very memorable melodies that they both.
I wanted to say that the songs are very memorable. I saw the film before, and there's song sequences I wanted to see again. I wanted to hear them again. I wanted to see the way that they were visualized. I really love that summer bit, that fantasy. How was that? Was that originally something in the boards, and then they came up with the song? I mean, how does that come to be?
What's amazing one of the things we wanted to do from the very beginning is we wanted the songs to be kind of seamless, where the story, like a scene leads right into a song, and every song propels the plot or tells you something amazing about the character. And Olaf always represented innocent love to us, and like Bobby Lopez, I'm a little twisted, so I said, gosh, what's the most innocent, naive thing that a snowman could want? And it was summer. And Bobby went, I can run with that. So it was one of those things where we met with him every day for 2 hours via video conference, and we'd work the story, the characters, and not just the songs. They are, amazing storytellers.
And they're storytellers. So they pushed us. They pushed us a lot to really define who the characters were, so that they could write a very clear song for them, and it really pushed us to narrow down. Like Elsa became all about fear, and Anna was about love. I mean, those very, very simple things, but it really helped with the songs and it helped the story.
I'm going to give another critique. In the last couple of films, Tangled and Wreck-It Ralph, and this film, I'm seeing something new in the visuals, and it's about like the characters. A lot of times, some of the previous movies that were made in CG where people...
A lot of the expressions they would do hand-drawn to give that, because we love the expressiveness that Disney's always had, particularly with their human characters, and so we had Mark
closely. And then Mark Hand was in our animation dailies every day.
And he was Little Mermaid. He's been around one of the...
These guys know Mark.
Oh yeah, they know.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is you can feel the studio itself is getting stronger, from Tangled to Wreck-It Ralph to now Frozen. There were a lot of things, particularly in the facial animation, the rigs that we weren't able to do even just a few movies ago, that now we can. So each of the artists is really pushing the craft.
And subtext is a key for us, being able to have two girls stand next to each other and you know what they're thinking as they're awkwardly trying to talk, and to do that, the technology they had to use was, beyond what we'd done before. But
yeah, I mean, I used to look at some of the previous non-Pixar, non-Disney movies that were made, where you look at the character design and some of the movements, and you think, like, gee, if this was hand-drawn, how that would look. It would look much better. It looks clunky here. I don't have that feeling anymore. I think we finally achieved it. With this three-dimensional cartoon look.
That's great to hear. I mean, that's our goal. We keep pushing, especially the animators and our head of animation, Lino DeSalvo, is just an amazing, passionate guy who wanted to do exactly that. So
great. Get ready with your questions. I want to ask about the voice actors and people like Josh Gad and Kristen Bell and They're just amazing people, and they sound great. I mean, it's beside the fact that, you know, if you know them or not, it doesn't matter. They're great actors for these parts. What can you tell us about the casting in this?
Josh and Kristen were on very early, actually. Josh was kind of the first ones on. He did our first table read that we did. Olaf wasn't quite the same character, wasn't quite as innocent, but it's still funny. And then Kristen came in. She was the very first person we saw for Anna. In fact, I just met her. Our casting director called me down, and she was there for something else. And she said, "You have to meet Kristen, because I think she'd be perfect for Anna." So she was the first one we met, and we still went through a lot of people, but she was the one. You could just tell she was the one, and ended up with a beautiful singing voice, which we didn't know right away. But she kind of helped define Anna.
Hugely. She's a huge part of Anna's, not just the sound of her voice, but the way she speaks, and wanting to do a female heroine that was more like some of us, that are clumsy and quirky and speak too fast and mess up, and you know, but yet inspirational at the same time, and very relatable. And she's very funny, and so we were like, let's just play. And it was, you know,
the first scene where she meets Hans, wait, what? That's Kristen. She came up with that in the room. She says, "I say that all the time." So we used it for Anna.
That's great. I'm sure we have a question from the audience, and if we don't, I will keep going. But I see one. Go ahead.
You said you wanted it to be a musical from the beginning. Why?
Because I like musicals. Really, I mean, that was it. John was excited about it. It was funny when I pitched it to Ed, too. I don't know if you guys know Ed Catmull. But Ed is, you can't really read Ed, and I was just pitching to John and Ed in the room, and after I pitched it, Ed was still the whole time with no expression on his face, and I thought, oh my God, he just hates this. So. And after I pitched it, he slammed the table, and he says, "We got ourselves a musical." And I was scared to death.
I think for us too, music can get to emotions, touch the soul very quickly in a way that you can't always do with dialogue. So yes, they can be funny, but they can also add to the deep emotion. And it just helps with the whole feeling of you've just seen a big Disney movie.
Yeah, I think we've gotten past that period. There was a period around when Toy Story came out where Disney had been doing so many musicals. And I remember the Pixar people were thinking or saying out loud, you know, we're not doing musicals, because that's what everyone thought animation was. But I think we're definitely past that now. We want musicals.
you know, what we all grew up on Disney, you know, animated films and musicals and loved them, but wanted to say, okay, what is that for today? We can show the world that you can do musical, but let's do musical that has that timeless feeling, but also timely. I think Bobby and Kristen were the perfect pair to work with, to just sort of shake it up and yet still give you the things that we loved about musicals.
I think they're a great team for the Disney, you know, for Disney in general. Yeah.
One thing I really appreciate is the eye. They don't look soft edges, they blend in the texture wonderfully without.
He's asking about the eyes.
Yes.
What can you say?
Well,
Again, Lino he knew exactly that's where the audience is going to look for most of the time. And that's where they should look. And so we worked very hard, you know, technically to come up with a look that, for lack of a better word, wouldn't be creepy. So.
You know, and it's the most expressive part of us, and everything they've built in terms of being able to, you know, the subtle squint, and then one side pops, one doesn't. And we were working on the eyes, though, all the way through color timing, with, you know, just to make sure that you were being able to read what they were feeling.
We worked very hard. There are times that the eyes, I don't know what it was between when the animator's doing and working in Maya, and then it went to lighting, that they got cross-eyed. There's something weird, and so we were always working and trying to pull those eyes out of
It
it.
was Hans and Anna were the
Hans and Anna.
Yeah.
This discussion of creepy eyes is reminding me of the last Frozen animated film, Polar Express. Okay, go ahead. And I wish I had that out of my head, sorry.
Was the idea to have this fake true love from the beginning with Hans being an evil character?
I don't know if it was there from the very beginning, but Chris had always wanted that turn of saying there's a different type of true love. And then Yeah, it was around, when I came on the project, we were deciding of sort of how far against literally a world of fear. And Anna's journey is about maturity, going from not understanding love to full understanding of the greatest love. And romantic love's a part of that. Family love is our bigger message in that, but a part of it too.
One more, I think, is what we have time for. Yeah.
Hi, could you discuss the decision about how much explanation to put on the magic in the universe?
There are many discussions. We've had months and months of discussions of what to do.
John is a stickler for trying to explain the magic. But I think there comes a point where you can only explain so much. If you keep trying to explain all the rules, it just doesn't work anymore. You get more questions. So we try to explain a little bit of it, but Elsa basically was born with these powers, and that's all we could really say. We tried many, many other different versions, and then you would spend about a half an hour trying to explain how she got these powers, and when it really wasn't about that. It was about these two sisters.
When we had that narration, we had a narration about, that was kind of like, when the moon is in line with the Saturn in the 11th hour of the 1,000th year, a child is born, and it was just like, oh.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, we went through many versions. We tried a lot, and then it just came, simpler. The simpler was the better way to go. So.
Of course, for Disney. Anyway, all I can say is it's spectacular, and good luck with this. It's coming out in a few weeks, and you're one of the first people to see it. And thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Cecily, and Chris Scott.